Hi, this is Digital Stereo Guitar. We're going over my top tips for every church worship guitarist. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do to improve your playing in a church worship sort of setting. If you're playing in a band, if you're playing with other musicians in a church, these will hopefully help. So let's go into them now. So we're obviously there to worship God. Important thing is for you yourself to also be a worshiper. You can sometimes get so caught up watching what you're playing, being so focused on what you're playing that you forget that you yourself needs to be a worshiper, right? You've got the lead singers, the other singers in your band, you've got the church, the pastors perhaps, they're all worshiping, they're all really getting into the music and worshiping God, and you yourself, you're so focused on what you're playing that you forget that you're also a worshiper. Not saying that you forget what you're playing and that you just go out with the flow, right? Learn your parts, learn them well, so that if you do have chord charts, which can be there to assist you, you don't necessarily have to rely on your chord charts all the time, so that you can freely worship yourself. Know the parts beforehand. Yeah, you can have charts, you can have your tabs and your chords, etc. written down on a nice bit of paper, on your iPad, what have you. But coming prepared will serve the melody, serve the song so much better. So come prepared, know your parts beforehand before you're going out and playing. Right, don't rely on some chord sheets, don't rely on that stuff. Rely on you knowing the parts first, and you can always jump to your chord charts if you need to. Get some feedback from people that you're playing with. Ask them, hey, do I sound good? Do I know how to play? What did you think? How do you think I played on this particular song? They will tell you the truth, or ask them, please tell me the truth. I want to learn, I want to get better as a guitarist. So get feedback. A lot of people go through their music career playing guitar, doing what they're doing, thinking that they're fantastic, but perhaps they're not actually as good as they think they are. So unless you know that you need to improve in certain areas, you may not actually improve in those areas. So ask your fellow band members, your singers, etc. How am I playing? Do I sound good? What can I do to play better? Should I get this? Should I perhaps invest in getting this particular sort of pedal? Maybe a better guitar? Maybe getting some lessons? There are other people in the band. There's the singer, there's the drummers, there's the bassist, there could be another guitarist, a keyboardist, whatever. Make sure that you know your place in a song, okay? If there's not a solo required, don't be soloing when you don't need to be soloing. Play at a certain time. Create the tone that matches, that brings the best sound out for that particular song. Alright? So don't play unless you have to. Know the other people in the band. Know the parts that they're playing. Not necessarily how to play it, but know when their parts in the song are, so that you know not to play, for example, in those parts. So play not all the time. What you'll find is that the best guitarists are the ones who know how not to play, essentially, in certain parts. If there's a person playing all the time, strumming crazy the whole way through, my chances are thinking that, well, maybe they don't know where they are in the song, so they're just, playing some licks, some solos. Try fill in the gap. A person who knows how to play, understands the atmosphere of what needs to happen for that song, plays at their appropriate times, right? So don't play all the time. Play selectively. Play something that matches that song as well. Most church worship bands have got like a lead singer or a worship leader. You may have multiples, you may not have one if you're just instrumental, for example. I'm not sure what your setup may be. But if you do have a worship leader, they will take songs in certain directions. They'll give you a chorus sign, they'll give you a verse 1, a verse 2, verse 3 sort of signs, a bridge sign, what have you. Follow your worship leader. Know where they want to take the song. Yeah? So you can be playing a chorus, and the original recording, let's say if you're doing a cover of a particular worship band song, you may be thinking, oh yeah, this is the arrangement. You've got a chorus here, then it goes to verse 2, then you've got a bridge, then there's a small little instrumental, then there's a chorus again, and then you end. That may be your structure, but the worship leader may not necessarily want to take it in that, that fashion, in that structure. So be prepared to change, be prepared to adapt to where the song is leading, where it's going. So watch your worship leader. Make sure that you're following their signs, right? Chorus, verse 2, whatever your signals may be. If there is signals, you know, they could be doing this with their guitar to show that a song's starting, or they could be moving to, you know, to build it up, to slow it down. They could be doing signals like this. So watch them, and that'll help you in knowing where to go as a guitarist as well in your worship band. Delays and reverb pedals. Nearly every worship guitarist that I know has got 1, 2, 3, or even more delay or reverb type of pedals. A plain sounding guitar may sound good, but it'll always sound better with some reverb. All right, so let's just look. So let's just turn these things off. So you've got a simple guitar, you know. Sounds okay. Well, look, I do have a little bit of reverb on my amp, so I'm cheating a little bit. But if you put a delay on here, let's just tap that. So this is a tap delay. It's on a little bit in the background. Let's put this one on as well. Something like this sort of reverb pedal, blue sky. Etc. We won't go too much into it, but it just will help in creating a really nice ambience for your overall sound. So look at investing in I think an overdrive pedal, but more importantly, maybe 1 or 2 delay or a reverb pedal, going to create a really nice ambience for your worship sound there as well. So when playing with your worship band, try to keep a nice balance of different types of sound amongst your pedals, okay? You may have some pedals, you may not have some pedals. You could also have some effects on your amp itself. So look at adjusting your pedals and mixing and matching pedals together to create different sounds, perhaps for different songs or different parts of songs. So one song, you know, you could have, say, a delay on and a simple little overdrive. Then the song builds up and you want to crank on a second overdrive, for example, okay? You could look at things like, you know, a wah pedal for certain, if there's a lick in a particular song, a few bits and pieces. So there's a really nice one that I've got, which is a looper pedal. Let you record a few seconds of a song, so you could maybe have a loop playing throughout the whole you know, duration of a song, for example. But experimenting with, you know, when to play which pedal and when not to use one will definitely help as well. Never underestimate the importance of your tone on your guitar. Think about things like what guitar you're going to use, what pedals you're going to use, and what amp you're going to use. Those 3 will determine the tone that you get out of your sound. Will also make you, as a unique musician, give your own sound, your own unique flavor to the sort of style of music that you're playing. So think about the guitar you're going to get, think about the amp you're going to get, think about the pedals that you're going to get. Okay, combining the 3 will give you the best tone that you can achieve for yourself. Try experimenting as well. Try playing around with certain pedals. Try playing around with different types of guitars. Go down to your music store, pick up a number of guitars, plug it into various different amps, and play around with some pedals as well. Keep your volume in check. As a guitarist in a church setting, you'll find that often people say, "You're too loud, you're too loud." You hear it all the time. I hear it all the time. But keep in mind, you want to create the nice balance for your overall worship sound, okay? If you've got your amplifier on your stage, be mindful of your sound level. If you can't hear your amp, be mindful of perhaps looking at leaning your amp so that it's facing directly towards you. Position your amp in a spot where you can still hear it, but mind your volume, because you have your volume too loud, then there could be microphones on the stage, there could be other musicians in your band that will start to hear that sound, and it just can create a lot of noise, a lot of chaos. So watch your sound. A lot of guitarists will hop on stage in a church service and just be there for the show. They'll want to be seen, they'll want to be just doing it for the fame. Hey, look at me, I'm on the stage, I'm playing, look at me, I'm so good. That is not a good attitude for a church guitarist, for a worship guitarist. Know your heart, know that you are there primarily to serve Christ and to serve the church. Okay, you want to be able to lead people into worship, and first and foremost, you want to be worshiping God first and foremost. That should be the only reason that you are on the stage. My preference would be to have a guitarist on the stage in a worship team that may not be as good, but his heart is in check, versus somebody who knows all this stuff, but they may not actually be a Christian, or they may be struggling in their faith in certain areas. So know your heart, know the reasons why you are there, know that it is for God first, and that you want to put all that stuff first and not there for yourself. This is not a band. You're not out there playing in a paid gig. People are not necessarily there to see you. People who come to church, this may be a surprise to you, but people who come to church are not there to see you. Primarily people come to church to hear the word, to worship God, okay? You are there just a facilitator, all right? You're there to help and assist in one segment of a service, but make sure you're there firstly for God, and that everything will sort of work into place and come together from that. Well, I hope you found that helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to Digital Stereo Guitar for a whole bunch of more videos.